Okay, welcome everyone. Super excited for today. This is a speaker that you want to get your pen and paper, take serious notes. It is a major inspirational story. Talk about relentless consistency, having a vision and not giving up. Wait, my son is so loud. Mateo! Sorry, he's like in my ear. And I'm so excited for y'all to hear from Lindsey because we got a chance, Raquel and I got a chance to hear from her in Director Summit. And wow, by far, I mean, Lindsey, I already told you, but I think by far one of the best keynote speakers, speeches, whatever that I've heard in any of our Money events because it was so real, it was so relatable, and it kind of, I don't know, it like brought me back. So I don't want to take too much away because Lindsey's going to share a story, but we have here an MDC member talking to us, someone that has been in the business since 2017. And Lindsey, the way this works is tell us a little bit about your story, kind of like maybe where you started, why you started. Throw in some of that part of your speech, whatever you think it's valuable, and then the girls and I have some questions for you at the end. Let me on. There you go.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. Wow, what an introduction. Best speech ever. I don't know if that's true, but hopefully I'll be able to say something. That's Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm so excited to hang out with you guys tonight and excited to share. Before I dive in, if you could do me a quick favor in the chat, just so I kind of know who I'm talking to, can you tell me like in the chat, like what rank you're at? And how long you've been in the business. Where you're at with the business. I'd love to see who I'm speaking with. I just think it's great to see where you guys are at. Oh my goodness, we got some big players on here. So good, so good. Okay, amazing. Everybody, 3 weeks. Welcome, sis. Glad you're here. 9 months. That's amazing. Man, I remember when it was only just a few months in. That is incredible. Okay, good. So glad we got some new faces on here too. So hopefully tonight, I'll be able to kind of speak to you wherever you're at with your journey in the business. And I think more than anything, what I want to say is, depending on when you started, kind of like what my hope would be by the end of the night is that whether you've been here for a second or whether you are brand new, I really do hope that you will be able to get off of here feeling like you've got some refreshed vision. I know over the last 2 years, maybe we can all admit together, regardless of whether you're brand new in the business or whether you've been here for a second, that there's been a lot of things that have kind of kept people from having vision for the future. Does anyone resonate with that? Does anyone maybe resonate like life's just kind of been challenging for a season? And I know for me personally, like throughout this part of developing myself and the business, and there was different seasons of overcoming and working through this. And I think when you get started, you just have so much excitement and momentum, and you don't even really know what you're fully doing. I feel like for me, Mane opened up this door to like a whole new life for me, and it changed things that I never anticipated. But as you guys have probably seen over the course, if you've been here for a minute, like this business is all over the place, and I'll share with you kind of my journey. But hopefully by the end, whether you're brand new, whether you've been in for a second, I would love for you to feel like you have a sense of vision towards something for the rest of this year. So a little bit about me and just my story. I started in 2017, which feels like 100 years ago. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get scared that I'm gonna turn into that girl that's the Mane girl that says 20 years ago I started a Mane business. I feel like sometimes I'm getting close to that because 2017 feels like a little bit away from now. But how I can hopefully be relatable to anybody that is 1 year in. Oh my gosh, you listen to Often Ambitious. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, so basically, for those that are brand new, I feel like I am starting over in so many ways too, and this does feel like my first year again. So hopefully I'll be able to relate to you. But I started in 2017. My background is very different. I am not the beauty influencer product girl. I'm just not. My background has been in photography and the creative arts. I actually was a photographer and artist for years, and people basically like what my job was in short was, somebody like Joe would hire me to shoot all of her content for her. Like she would call me up and be like, girl, I need you to do like a shoot here. I need branding content. I have a website launching. I need a whole brand kit put together. I did that on a smaller scale. I worked with major artists and influencers and helped create their visuals for their branding. On a larger scale, I worked for nonprofit organizations and marketing campaigns. I shot book covers. It was a very specifically niched thing that I did for years, and I had a really amazing career. I was very successful as a photographer and who I worked for. But I always knew, while I was working and doing photography, I always knew that I was actually on the wrong side of the camera. I knew that I was supposed to be a person that was on the front side and influential and using my voice. And that was such a crazy jump to go from the behind the scenes to the front. And I knew that inside of me that I was supposed to do that. I always wanted to mentor women. I always wanted to make an impact with women and help women. But I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to actually like be able to make that jump, that transition into this world of speaking and helping other people and whatnot? And Monet just ended up being this vehicle that got presented right to me when I least expected it. And I'm not gonna lie, I totally was that girl that was like, I'm better than this. I have an actual career. I don't know if anybody maybe still even struggles with like the stigma of worrying, like, I don't want to turn into that girl. Trust me, the last thing I wanted to be was that girl. And I was like, I am above this. I don't want to do this. But the truth of the matter was I was just so burned out in my profession. In order for me to work, I had to constantly take on more shoots. I had to always book more clients in order to get paid. And I was really, really tired. And I wanted to be able to create something that could be able to give me just so much more financial peace and control of my finances than photography. The stress of always having to book clients and always bringing in new people just got very overwhelming. And I saw this business and I saw what it was doing for a friend, much as maybe you guys have seen for whoever your upline is. But I'm telling you, I really struggled. Is there anyone in here that just kind of maybe feels like they don't have what it takes? Or maybe you're like, I just don't have the following, or I just don't have the confidence, or how do I show up and do this? Gang, I'm going to tell you right now that whole first year, yeah, I mean, hey, let's have honesty hour, okay? Like self-doubt or, like those fears and those insecurities come up. Like you are probably looking at one of the people that has struggled the hardest with owning this and feeling like they could step out in confidence and be that confident person working this business, because I just didn't feel like I fit the mold. Like I don't, like I said, I don't have all that product knowledge. I'm not like an influencer. Like I don't see myself as that, at least, which is so funny. And I think that goes to show, and I hope that I can be an example to you guys that you don't actually have to fit in whatever box you have to fit in order to be able to perform and to be able to grow a team and to be able to reach the success in this. I think that what I knew was that I wanted to change my financial situation. I may not be the product influencer, but you know what? I have a lot of grit and I work really hard. And I knew that I wanted to be able to change what was available for us, for our family. And I wanted to take control of my finances, and I wanted to do it. And I basically stood there and I was like, look, I'm smart. I can figure this out. And even though I don't feel the most confident showing up and talking about this stuff all of the time, I was so confident in what I wanted to change and what I wanted to create. I know that Joe will probably want me to share this, but just a few years before I joined Monat, I don't know if some of you know this or not, but I actually lived out of my car for 6 months. That's part of my story, which is crazy. But I actually lived out of my car for a season. And life was definitely very challenging, even though I had a very successful photography career before that. So there's a lot of grit in my story. And, something that was extremely motivating for me was that I wanted a home. I I grew up like not really having like a stable living environment. And I really, like I said, that part of my story, like I lived out of my car. I saw what this business was doing for other people. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is what I want to create for myself. I want to be able to have a home. I want to be able to do this so that I have a place that's mine. This was my goal. This is something that I was motivated towards. And I spent, the first year of the business was so much. I don't know, like again, if you're brand new, like if you've been working on this for a second, gang, I spent the whole first year of the business so in my head that it cost me so much time and it cost me so much money. And I don't know like where you're at tonight, but basically I can't encourage you guys enough that if you feel like there's something that you want to create this year, I don't know what it might be. And if you want to like type it in the comments, you're more than free to. But I don't know if there's something that you are wanting to create this year, but you're feeling like you're still holding yourself back, or you're still counting yourself out, or you're still like, hey, I don't really know how this is all going to come together. I'm telling you that the minute that it was that whole first year, so I signed up in October of 2017, I was in my head the whole year. I was kind of hanging out around like AMM. I just could not get past AMM because I was so in my head. And then that September, I went to Monations, and my upline looked at me and was like, "You're so half in. You're 1 foot in. You're 1 foot out. If you really want to do this, you really do need to go all in." And I think sometimes that we think when we hear like go all in, we need to go all in on Monat. We need to become this like Monat billboard in order to be able to go all in. No, I truly believe that you have to go all in on you. I believe that. I believe that when she really told me that, I think she was saying you got to just go all in with Monat. And I was like, you know what? I actually think I need to go all in on myself. I need to go all in on my confidence. I don't need to know all of these pieces. And I took the confidence of what I always wanted to create, what I wanted to build, and I was like, I'm just going to go all in on me, and I'm not going to ask questions. I did a coaching call the other day with a girl on my team who's been on my team that's been sitting in the same place for the last 3 years. She can't grow. And I did a coaching call with her, and she's getting on the call. She's asking me questions, and I interrupted her and I said, "Hun, you're asking the wrong questions. You're asking, what do I do and how do I do it?" And I said, if you ask those questions, you will always be asking the wrong questions. You have to ask, why does this matter? And who is this for? If you can answer, why does this matter and who is this for, you're going to get where you want to go, because you're going so all in on you. This matters because this is what I want to create. This matters because this is the impact that I want to make. Who is this for? It's for you. It's for your family. It's for your teammates. It's for that legacy that you're trying to change. When we're constantly asking, what do we do? How do we do it? It's like this very desperate place of just being like, there's got to be the perfect way that I can figure this out. And honestly, I just see the same people when they keep asking those questions. I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I say? People just stay stuck. Maybe you're trying to get to a bigger goal. Maybe you've been trying to work past your current rank. Maybe you want to hit MM and get your car. Maybe you are brand new and you're like, hey, I want to do this, but it's all the questions of like, how do I do it? How do I do it? I know that it feels counterintuitive because I know a lot of people want those steps. People love tangibles. I always tell people I am not your tangibles girl. I don't got tangibles for you. All I've got for you is to remind you that I am the most not typical person to do Monat. Guys, when I started my business, I literally had 4,000 followers, and there wasn't a single picture of me on social media because all of my pictures on social media were of my client work. So it was just pictures of other people. And I was able to build this, show up, create excitement. And that year at Monations, 2018 fall, I went all in on myself. I was like, I'm doing this. I don't know how. I'm just going to go all in on me. I'm going to figure this out. And guess what? I sat at AMM for like ever. And then literally so September to that December, I hit MMM. So AMM to MMM in 4 months. And then I hit director that summer, the following summer. So not even 1 year later. And I'm telling you guys, and then the goals change as you go throughout it. As you keep working through different things, your goals will change. But what didn't change was the fact that I never waited to feel 100% confident to just go, I'm going to go create this thing that I don't even fully understand. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. I think over the last few years, I think people have just lost the ability to have vision for themselves, for their business. I think people have been very distracted with like the internet. Everybody's looking over here. What's she doing? What's she doing? What's she doing? No one is grounded on what they want to create for their lives. And I can't challenge you guys enough. If you want to go ahead and like write in the comments, like, what is that thing that you want to see for yourself by the end of this year? Like, what is that thing that you're working towards? Like, I know we all say we want more money, and I'm going to tell you guys it's not enough. It's not enough to say that, because sure, everybody wants more money. It's got to mean something. It's got to mean something for you to be able to show up and for you to be able to be like, you know what, I want to go change this. For me, I knew for me, I was like, I'm going to go build myself a home. That's what I want. I want to be able to create this for myself, for my family. I didn't get to have that in a, like I said, a safe place growing up. Like I was in and out of so many living situations. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I didn't stop until I did it. And I'm currently sitting in my house. So it's possible. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys is, yeah, it's like what that thing is that you're working towards. I can't encourage you enough to connect. Like, you've got to be able to show up right now and be able to stretch yourself into seeing that place that you want to go, to be able to start thinking and visualizing yourself and where you want to be. Because I think for too long, people have like let their current circumstances define what they think is available for them. And I think that when that's the case, it's very hard to show up and work this business. And I'm telling you guys, like, again, I don't know. Maybe you guys are showing up every single day. Maybe you guys are like, I'm doing the do and I'm not seeing it. Listen, wherever you're at with this, I feel like if I was going to give a tangible, I think the best thing that you could be doing right now is to take some time before this end of this month, be so focused on getting connected again to like, hey, what is that thing that I want to go create right now for the end of this year? Why does that matter? Why? Ask yourself those questions. Why does it matter? And then who is this for? How does this benefit myself? How does this benefit those in my life? It's so important to have that clarity when you're showing up and you're working. And then once you're able to tap into that, the what and the how get answered. I'm telling you. I think that the thing that's so crazy about this whole thing is when I was working in my business, gang, I never planned to ever be able to be at MDC. That was never even something I even planned for myself. I never even thought that that was available. And I also want you to know that Joe told me that, you know, people have been, some of you guys have been here through longer seasons of working the business, the highs and the lows. Listen, like, that is just part of life. That is just the way that it goes. And what I teach my team right now is that it does take a very strong person to be able to rise above the norm of like the status quo of like, you know what, like, this is just too much. This is just too hard. This is just, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can go out there and make it happen. And I told my team, I was like, listen, this year is going to be a year where we dig in despite all things like turning the page. I think when we were at the director summit, a lot of the directors, guys, we've been through the crazy seasons. We get it. We have people quit on us. We have people not answer us. We have teammates leave. We have people that hurt us. Gang, it's that we are not immune to that. Like, we have those same exact struggles that you guys do, that we navigate daily in our business. Do not think for a second that just because people don't show that part of their life or they don't fully acknowledge it, that's not there and that's not something that people are dealing with. I think one of the hardest parts of this business is that you're trying to get people to engage with a lifestyle, with a dream, with something that they can create for themselves. But if you're navigating a really hard season, it can be a really hard time to like sell that when you're dealing with all of the stuff that is normal. It doesn't mean that you have to hide that part, but I think with it being the new year, I think that what I'm trying to communicate is that if you've had teammates that have left, if you have girls that aren't working, if you have people that, you know, it's just felt like a lot of challenges in getting people to want to partner, or you've, like I said, maybe you've had teammates quit, or maybe you've had people like not fully understand what you're doing, the best thing that I could offer to you is to really treat, regardless of whether you're brand new or maybe you've been here for a minute, to really join the directors in treating this season and this time as a new season for you, and to create something new in this season. I know for me, I didn't really have a strategic goal that I was working towards for the last year. And I kind of like waffled. I kind of was just like, okay, here I am. I'm showing up, I'm selling, I'm promoting, but I wasn't connected to that vision of what I wanted to create the same way that I was when I created my house, the same way when I got my Cadillac, the same way when I was going for director. Do you guys want to know a fun fact? When I was going for director, I walked around and told people when they said, hey, what do you do for a living? Like, what do you do? When I met people, I would say, I'm a director for Monat. And I totally wasn't. I was an MMM. And I literally, but I'd say it. I was so confident that I was going to do it, that, and I'm not a liar either. I don't like to lie, and I never tell lies, but that was the one time I lied in my life, because it was like a mental thing. Like, I had to be like, I am doing this. I am doing this. Like, I am doing this. It's the same way when I went for my car. It's the same way for every single time that I went for those things. And so maybe if you have been here for a second and you feel like you're not seeing progress, that's what I want to invite you into. Are you really tapped in to that thing that you want to create this year? Have you connected with it to your heart? Maybe in the past you have hit your Cadillac. Maybe in the past you have done something pretty incredible. Maybe you're brand new and you're like, lady, I just signed up. I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. Well, listen, whatever that goal is that you're setting yourself towards, really tap into why it matters to you to be able to make it happen. Because I'm telling you, when you can connect that vision for yourself, it's so much easier to show up. I think so many people just aren't connected to vision. I really don't think they are. I think that that's why it's hard for people to show up and do this business, because when you really have like that strong vision for yourself, for your life, for where you see yourself, for where you see yourself going, it's so much easier, I feel, to be able to do this. And that's coming from a person who lost a lot of vision in their business. Gang, I've done.
Lindsay, I
Oh,
have a quick question for you.
yes.
Just because you're kind of already going into it.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I just want to,
Yeah.
you're going into it, and I'm like, I wonder if this is what
Yeah.
changed for her. So you mentioned how you're not really like a tangibles person. It's not something maybe you shifted, maybe you did. And that's what I want you to answer.
Yeah.
I know that you said before you had such a clear vision and you had intention behind your actions. And then you kind of, maybe that's what changed, right? For those of you that don't know, like, her business was stagnant. And
Oh.
right now she's having a crazy season for the last 90 days, right? And so my question was going to be like, really what changed? But since I think you're kind of answering it. Maybe it wasn't anything tangible, but maybe it was. So
Yeah.
if it is, share the tangible that changed. And if it's not, is it just because you feel like maybe you reconnected with that vision and that intention? Is it that? Is it because you were going into how like now you have that same vision that you did when you were going for director? Is that what changed for you?
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely feel like for me personally, because again, like in different parts of the business, I have had strong vision for what I wanted to create. Fun fact, the last 2 years of my life sucked. Sucked. There is no other way around it. That's the only word for it. I wanted to quit this business 500 times because my life was out of control. There was really some hard things that I had to walk through. And I had a lot of people that quit on me, and had a lot of teammates that transitioned out. And I went for a long time. I had executive director, and then I had a bunch of people quit, and just some really hard personal things that I had to navigate. And I sat at AED for the last year and a half trying to rebuild, but I didn't really grow because I had lost so much vision for what I wanted to create. So how did I get it back? Well, I had to make peace with the past. I had to like let go of things. So I think for maybe somebody who, yeah, it's so real. Like, don't worry, girl. Welcome to the club. So anyway, all that to say, I think for me, if I could pinpoint where I lost like the vision, I got lost in my vision because I was so caught up in like all the negative that happened, like all the bad stuff that happened. It was all that I could see. All I could see was like what was going wrong, because the vision, our vision is just what we choose to focus on. And honestly, I chose to focus on a lot of negativity for 2 years. I did. And it was really hard for me to get out of all of that. I had to heal. I had to deal. I had to figure out how I was going to no longer allow the things that had happened to me to affect me. And that was a process. And so if you're in a process of like navigating the hard stuff, I'm glad it feels relatable, Jess. I'm like, I hope this is making sense. I think if you're in a season of navigating some hard things, or like I said, you've had like some losses or whatever, I mean, I had to get to a place where I was like, I've got to let this go, because it was swallowing me whole. And I was getting stuck, and my business was going down, 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 down. And I finally had to get to this point where I was like, I got to make peace with the past. I got to be done. I got to change my story. I'm an Enneagram 4. I don't know if you guys do Enneagram, but I'm an Enneagram 4, which means I'm like a sad, moody, broody artist girl. And I had to tell myself this year, I said, sad girl Lindsey's done. That season's over. Sad girl Lindsey's season's done. I've been sad a lot of years of my life. Sad girl Lindsey's retired. She's going to take the seat. Yeah, I had a true identity change. I changed my hair. I tried to do things to create a creative atmosphere for myself, to be able to re-envision something more exciting, something to get excited about, something to choose some positivity. Gang, the negativity is so easy for us to pick up every single day. Sometimes you really do have to fight to create a better vision for yourself. And it does look like reaching higher, dreaming again, allowing yourself that, getting excited about your life more than you're excited about watching somebody else's life. For real. Get excited about what you want to create this year, not what so-and-so is creating. I'm serious. You can do these things that you guys want to do.
I love that. Okay, really quick. And this can be a quick answer, because I know Mariana has one question for you, but you said you wanted to quit, and so many people relate to you, even you girls. Honestly, I have a girl that's a month in, and I had a call with her today, and she's like ready to quit. I'm like, you never even got started. So
Yeah.
when you wanted to quit, why didn't you? Obviously, you were already into the business. You're not a new girl, but I know everyone has those thoughts at one point or another. Why are you still here? Why didn't you quit?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I didn't quit because I wanted to see, I think my personal motivation for why I didn't quit was because, well, fun fact, if you quit when it's really easy to quit when it's hard. I'll say that again. It's really easy to quit when it's hard. So if you're like coming up on like struggle and you go, oh, I just can't anymore. Like, congratulations, you're a part of 90% of the world that gives up every single day on everything. It's so easy to quit when it gets hard. Like, why do we quit going to the gym? Why do we stop eating like good food? Like, it is so easy to do that. And I think for me, I don't know if it's just that like Baltimore spirit, baby, go Ravens. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I guess it's just in me that like, I'm not gonna if I ever walk, I'm gonna walk on a high note. You know, that's kind of where my mentality is. Like, I'm gonna go out on as high as I can. And those low moments weren't gonna define me. Like, I watched other people around me make those decisions where I saw their life get hard and then they quit. And I was like, my life is impossible right now. And if I quit, I'm just going to be like everyone else. And I just didn't want to submit to that. I wanted to figure out if I could create a business that was sustainable, that I could grow, where I could, because I saw a lot of people quit from burnout culture. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I actually sat in the tension of trying to figure out, can I create a business that can be sustainable, where I can have people that want to work this, where we work normal hours, we're not killing ourselves, we're still achieving our goals, and we're living our life, we're getting it done, and it's balanced. And that took time for me to create. And I wanted to see that through, because I saw a lot of people quit when it got really tough or people got super burned out. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. I want to figure out if I can create a business that I can work, that I can still show up, I can work hard in, but I want my players, my teammates, I want this to feel like this can be adding to our lives and not taking from it. And I came from a culture that it just felt like it took so much. And so I wanted to actually create it. And that took time. And so I needed to see it through. And I did do what I set out to do. And I didn't, I definitely, our whole team has just been able to thrive in this season of creating a healthy culture. And I guess I just was being kind of a little brat, and I just was being more rebellious than anything. Cause I just was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to do what I want to do. And I didn't want to quit when it seemed like that was easier, if that makes sense.
I love that. I have a question for you. I love hearing you speak. And one thing that you said was that you felt like you didn't fit in for a long time. And I feel like a lot of the girls on this call can definitely agree, because we feel like the person that fits in is that beauty girl that loves being an influencer and making the videos and taking the pictures. Like, many girls, women here think that that's what they have to be. Even for a long time, that's what I thought I had to be. And I'm like, but this is not who I am. So I want you to talk about embracing your authenticity and who you are, because I follow you on Instagram and I have for a really long time. And you've always been very unique. And from what it looks like, you've always stayed very true to who you are. So can you please elaborate on being authentic in your business and how being authentic has helped you be in the season of your business that you're in right now?
Sure. That's a great question. These are, man, they're putting me on the spot. I'm like, whew, I got to think. Okay. So I think for me, gang, I think a lot of times when we want to show up and we want to create online brands, it is very easy to look towards others for inspiration of how we should do things. First of all, when you're doing the business, you need to be able to look at your uplines and you need to be able to look for examples on how to duplicate and show up and share. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how we learn. You learn by observation. You have to learn by watching. If you guys, some of you guys have kids, your kids watch what you do and they do it. Like, that's how they learn, okay? We learn by observation. There's a level of which we do need to watch and model others to be able to do this business because we want it to be duplicatable. But where this gets messy is when we start looking, and as women, I just think, like, for whatever reason, our curse is just that we work. So we take on other people so strongly and we compare and we start to think like, I need to be her, I need to be this person, I need to be so-and-so, or I can't fully do this. And I think where I always tell people, like, as a great guideline on how to really own who you are, is if you're spending time looking at other women for inspiration, you'll know if it's inspiration or you'll know if it's comparison, depending on how you feel. If you watch something, because inspiration always equals action every single time. If you are truly inspired by somebody, you will act. Inspiration creates action, activation every single time. So if you're observing and then you observe and then you go duplicate, or you go act and you go put your thing out, or you create something because you watch so-and-so and you go create, that's inspiration. If you compare, you will not take action. And that's how you know the difference. Okay, so that's just a good rule of thumb, because comparison you'll never get into action, never. Or you'll feel so dysregulated while you're trying to create, and that's just like, who wants to do that? Okay, so number one, if you're looking for inspiration from people, check the amount of time that you're actually taking in other people's content, because as a creative, I cannot watch that many people's things because I will be distracted and I won't be able to get in touch with my own thoughts. So so how do you stay true to yourself? How do you stay keeping your own authentic voice? you have to silence some of the other voices for perspective in order to be able to figure out what you want. I will always say this over and over and over again. I think mood boards are cool. I think you should be your own mood board. I think they're cool, but you should be the center of your mood board. I think it's great to look at other women that inspire you, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, you can pull a little bit of, man, I like that jacket, or I like this, or I like that. But at the end of the day, this is about you rocking you, sis. These girls ain't gonna join you because you're like so-and-so. They're gonna join you because it's you. And the one thing that I can say that I'm really proud about myself that I haven't done is I have not compared myself to any of the other directors saying, I gotta be her in order to achieve. This is my game. I play it my way. I carve my own path. My people find me. I wanna work with people that wanna work with me. I don't wanna work with women that want me to be another director. If they wanna be with that director, they can go join her. I'm here to serve my crew, people that are like me. So I just own more of who I am, and then my people come to me and find me. And I do limit how many perspectives. I don't watch content all day long. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to create my own. I'm going to spend some time silencing all the perspectives so that I can actually figure out what I want to say. You all know enough. You've all seen enough to know how to do this. You have to sit in the tension of, what's my voice? What do I want to create? What inspires me? How do I want to impact other people? What does that look like? And that's going to feel tense for a little bit, but that's how you actually stay true to yourself. I know it's abstract, but it's the truth.
Is amazing. Honestly, I want to go back and watch the recording too, because there is a reason why you are thriving right now. And I mean, I feel like I wish we had more time, but in a nutshell, guys, she's been up here, she's gone down, and she is literally killing it in her business right now. And you heard why. Lindsey, I think you gave it your all. You gave us your all. I'm super grateful, girls. I think you girls are good, right? We said each one question because you were preaching. You answered everything we wanted to ask before we've been asking. So I just want to thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for inspiring us. I'm so proud of you, honestly. Like, it's so amazing to see someone so strong. And I hope you guys get something from this call.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys for having me. You guys rule. You can go do it. You got the whole year, baby. Go rock it out, gang.
Bye.
Have a great day. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.